Sorry, Janet. Can't control my super strength while I'm sleepy.
Maybe we should switch sides.
We can't. That's your side. It's traditional. Like the alarm going off at 7:49 and at 7:52, me making you a cup of tea, boiled by my thermobreath to exactly 100 degrees.
Yes, and at 7:53, the roof of my mouth melting. George, do you think we're getting too routine and predictable?
No, not at all. And I wish you wouldn't keep saying that every 5th Tuesday.
We are. We're in a rut. We're boring.
No, we're not. What about last Monday when I gave you that iridium necklace? Remember, with her name spelled out in Ultron script? Totally unpredictable.
Yes, except that you left the flat that morning saying, "Goodbye, Janet, today I'm going to get you a surprise necklace." It's a lovely present, really. Sometimes we're like an old married couple. My God, George, I've become my mother.
Really? Then where are you hiding the rest of your bottom?
George, I don't want to be boring and predictable. I want excitement. I want the unexpected. Okay, I've changed my mind.
No way.
What the hell is going on? Who is this?
She's from Ultron. Her name is Ziliana Donna Mashamalaya Figo Nana Manunu. Still to her friends.
And are you one of her friends?
Sort of. She's my fiancée.
Your fiancé?
I know. It's a bit of a bombshell.
No, George, it's a whole bombshell. It's a great big 10-megaton bombshell. Did it just slip your mind you were engaged?
All Ultrons are. Sort of. When we're 6, we all have to go through the grand ceremony of betrothal and are engaged to somebody of the opposite sex. It's traditional, like the alarm going off at 7:49, at 7:52.
George.
It's really just a ceremonial thing. I mean, 72% of all those engaged never even see each other again.
And the other 28% is eating my tea bags. What does she do for an encore? Strain it through her knickers?
Janet! There's no need to be so rude.
No need to be rude. An intergalactic gold digger has just beamed in to nick my boyfriend. What should I do? Swap makeup tips?
Actually, I feel a bit sorry for her. I mean, it's not hard to see why she's come. Poor girl.
Poor girl?
Yeah, you only have to look at her. Honestly, how is a girl who looks like that ever going to find a husband?
George, here on Earth, a girl who looks like that could get anyone's husband.
Really? Even with those long, shapely legs? And those boring, perfectly spherical breasts? What a ridiculous planet this is. I don't need legs and breasts, Janet. I've got you.
Thanks very much.
To Ultronians, it's the purity of the mind and the goodness of the heart that dictates beauty. And that's why I love you, Janet.
Oh, George.
Plus, you've a really lovely arse.
George.
Sorry, Earth standards rubbing off a bit there.
All right, Mrs. Bennett, keep putting the cream on it, but if it gets any worse, be a love and change doctors. Okay.
Where do you think you're swanning off to?
Just popping out for a venti non-fat decaf latte hold the firm. I've no idea what it is, but apparently it's George Clooney's favourite.
Well, as soon as you've got a minute. As you know, my present contract expires Friday. I assume that you're satisfied with my level of performance this year?
Not really. Some of the germ-ridden scum are still getting through to my office. Yes. Yes, I can assure you that I'm more than happy with the way you've been doing whatever it is that you do.
So can I assume you want me to continue for another year?
You can indeed, yes.
It'll cost you.
I beg your pardon?
I want a better deal or I'm off. Mrs. Crowe over at the Uxbridge Clinic gets perks.
Mrs. Crowe is having an affair with Dr. Benson.
I'm sorry, Dr. Crispin, but I'm not becoming another notch on your bedpost just to get a longer lunch out. I knew I shouldn't have worn this provocative cardi today.
No, Mrs. Revitt, I am not asking for sexual favours.
You're not even asking if I want a frothy coffee. And that's the trouble. Unless you show me I'm appreciated, I'll take my services elsewhere.
Really?
Yeah. I want a cost of living increase. I want a new title, Senior Executive Patient Liaison Officer. And I want a company moped.
Company moped, yes. I suppose you could park it on the helipad. The one I'll have to install for the flying pigs. We all want things we can't have. I want my own game show on the BBC. You want a living wage. It's pie in the sky.
I mean it, Doctor. Either you meet my demands or on Friday I'll walk.
No, Mrs. Raven, I can't have that.
You can't?
No. You shall have a minicab. It's the least I can do, seeing as it'll be your last day.
Janet, last year when you asked Dr. Crispin for a raise, did he sack you at all?
No, he just... Oh, my God, he sacked you? What are you going to do?
I can't give in. No retreat, no surrender, to quote my wedding vows. But then again, maybe I have been in this job too long. I had this feeling before I gave up being a prison warder.
Hi, Janet. Mrs. Raven, it's incredible. You look even more miserable than usual.
George, Mrs. Raven isn't herself today.
That must be quite a relief. For both of you.
Shall we go into my office?
Mr. Stubbins, what are you doing here? I had you down as dead.
Did you speak to Zill? And she agreed to go home? Oh, George, you said it was a simple misunderstanding.
And so it is. I simply misunderstood how determined she is to marry me. Look, do you know what that is?
An Ultron Pools coupon?
Our certificate of engagement. She's kept it safe since we were 6. And according to it, I have to marry her.
But you don't want to marry her, do you?
No. If only there was some way to put her off the whole idea of marriage.
We could introduce her to my parents.
Nah. I don't think that would be a good idea. I mean, Zill is rude, bossy and stubborn. Your mother just give her someone to look up to.
You're right. What are we going to do?
Got to find some sort of loophole in the marriage contract. I'll go see Arnie. I remember at school he had a brilliant legal mind. Although, I think he might have swapped it for a mouth organ.
Come on, Sam, old man. You've got to be there. Oh, hi. I'm Tyler, intergalactic adventurer. Recently escaped from a planet of sex-starved humanoids who abducted me for their breeding program. All right, I've locked myself out and I'm bursting for a week. Can I come in and use the... Well, it's Tuesday, so he's probably gone to pick up his laundry. Yeah, of course I do. I'm fluent in Australian. Plus, I've got a tiny bit of schoolboy Marston. You know, just odd, useful phrases like which way to the death machine, that sort of thing. Yeah, I'd love to help you learn English. I speak great English, mate.
Thank very much.
Excuse me, do you know where we can find one of those 24-hour chapels? We want to get married.
Good for you. And the best part is, you can do it right here. Now, do you want the standard service or the deluxe?
What's the difference?
With the deluxe, you're the only one who gets to kiss the bride.
We'll take that one.
Good choice. Okay, do you, plump guy, take this woman's scrawny broad to be your lawful wedded wife?
Yep.
And vice versa? I now pronounce you man and wife. You may pay me $100 and you may kiss the bride. Hi, George. This is me. How goes it in the world of superheroing?
Not great, Arnie. Can you remember back to something very significant we both did when we were 6?
All kids do that kind of stuff. It doesn't make you any less of a man.
No. The grand ceremony of betrothal.
Oh, yeah. That summer us kids had regalian flu when we were betrothed by proxy. I wonder whatever happened to mine.
Well, I know what happened to mine. She's in Janet's bedroom drawing up a wedding list.